Hey everybody, this is Bradley Benner with Semantic Mastery and SERP Space and Mastery PR and various other companies. And I got Hernan on with me today, and we're going to be talking about how to get more leads and customers to your website on Autopilot. What's up, Hernan?
Hey Bradley, hey everyone. It's really good to be here. For all of you guys that are just joining Semantic Mastery, welcome. For all of you guys that are part of Semantic Mastery, it's good to have you here, guys, too. So.
Yeah, and for any of you that are new to us, stick around for a little bit. We're going to run through a short presentation just to talk about what syndication networks are and Syndication Academy and why you should be using them and that kind of stuff. This isn't like a hard pitch type of webinar, guys. It's not like that. Those of you that are members of Syndication Academy already or are familiar with our products and have been purchasing done for you syndication networks from SerpSpace, you're welcome to stay if you'd like, but it's certainly not necessary. It's not going to be anything new for you guys. We're just going to be basically running through what the product is, why it's valuable, and basically how to purchase it, or how to join the academy, or how to purchase networks. So again, you're more than welcome to stay if you'd like. If not, if you've got other stuff to do, feel free to cut and run. So, and it looks like Adam just joined. What's up, Adam? I catch him up.
Hey guys, no, sorry, can you hear me?
Yep.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Good. Just made it in the nick of time, about 1 minute late, I think. Sorry about that, but happy to be here.
Just don't let it happen again, okay?
Oh, guys, don't do this to me.
All right, cool. All right, well, like I said, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, guys. Let me see. We do have an event page. You guys should be on the event page. If you have any questions, just go ahead and post them on the event page, and I'll get to them at the end of the presentation. Let's run through this, and we'll respect everybody's time and be out of here very soon, okay? So let's do this. Okay. So, Syndication Academy. Use the same authority and brand building strategy the big boys use to take your business to the top of the SERPs. And that's, it sounds like a bold statement, but it's absolutely the foundation that we have been using or building upon since when I started with this method was in either 2011 or 2012. I can't remember exactly, but it's been at least 5 years since I've been using this method, and it's been working like gangbusters ever since. In fact, it just seems to work even better now, and it's probably because of Google's leaning towards authority and brands. So we're going to talk about each one of these. What we're going to cover is what is content syndication and Syndication Academy, why are syndication networks so effective, who should use syndication networks, and how to join Syndication Academy, and what to do next. And you know what, I think I'm missing a slide at the end, but that's okay, not a problem. All right, what is content syndication? So for those of you that are unfamiliar with what content syndication is, it is sharing and posting your content, which can be blog content, video content, it can even be social media posts for that matter, etc., on social networks, Web 2.0s, bookmark and cloud storage sites, and anywhere else that accepts user-generated content. So essentially, when you are creating content, guys, creating content's never good enough. Like, that in and of itself is not enough to generate traffic, unless you already have a big audience that you, like, for example, an email list or social media or something where you can post your content and you get a bunch of eyeballs to it. But if you're just starting out, which is probably, or if you're just trying to generate traction for a particular web asset or business, you're going to need to get some exposure to your content. Publishing content alone isn't good enough, right? Although Google tells us that that's all we got to do is buy a domain and fill it out with really valuable content and just publish consistently, and then it's like, the field of dreams. If you build it, they will come. Well, that's total BS. Unless you get really lucky, there's pretty much no way that anybody's ever going to find you and see unless you do some sort of promotion, right? So content promotion. And that's basically what we're talking about when we talk about syndication, is taking a piece of content that, let's just use a blog post, for example, that you publish to your blog, and then syndicating that out across various social media, Web 2.0, bookmark and cloud storage sites, or anywhere else that accepts user-generated content. So it's the same content. You're just republishing it on other platforms, right? And you give credit back to where the original content source was, right? So where it was originally published. And what that does is, first of all, it gets your content out, or your website's content, or clients' content, whatever. It gets the content out on the web so that it on other platforms where there's already existing user base, right? There's already traffic on those other platforms. There's people there. And so putting your content on there can help to generate additional traffic, can help to build your brand because now it's starting to create brand recognition. And also with the attribution link, which is the link that goes back to cite the source. I'm sure everybody's been through some level of formal education where we had to learn whenever we were writing reports and things like that, and we were citing a source, we had to give attribution. We had to give credit where the content came from, right? And so essentially whenever we re-syndicate or syndicate our content to these other platforms, we are basically stating within, it's usually like a footer link at the bottom of the content that says something like, this post was published originally on the Joe's Plumbing blog, and it's got a link over to the original piece of content. So the original URL where it was published for the first time, right? And so that creates a backlink back to the original content. So now syndicating your content across all these these other web properties out there, and in generating and this is all done in an automated way, guys. It's 100% on autopilot. The only thing that needs to be done is focus on creating content. Everything else will be syndicated automatically with a link, that attribution link appended to the bottom of the article, which will automatically build backlinks back and social signals and bookmarks and those kind of things back to your original content, which helps to increase the SEO value and will also help to generate some traffic. So it's a very, very powerful method. Content syndication, when done correctly, will produce traffic and build high quality backlinks to your digital assets using 100% white hat strategies. Now, why do I say 100% white hat strategies? Well, because if you think about it, guys, all the biggest blogs and content, the heaviest trafficked websites on the planet, whenever they produce any content, they republish their content or syndicate or share their content across all their social media properties, as many as they have typically, right? As long, for example, they'll share their blog content to Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn, and you guys get the idea. Well, the point is that if it's good enough for all the big boys, all the heaviest trafficked websites on the planet, then it's good enough for us, the little guys, right? There's no reason why we shouldn't be mimicking those exact strategies that the big dogs use, right? And that's basically what we're doing. When done correctly, content syndication mimics that which the large highest traffic websites on the planet do. Okay, so it's white hat. There's nothing wrong with it, guys. It's perfectly logical and reasonable that when you create content that you want to go share that content on other social media platforms, right? To get more traffic to it, to get more eyeballs, and especially if you've already got an audience or if you're building an audience that is going to be that has an interest in your topic, right? So your industry, your niche, then you're going to be providing relevant content to a captive audience or an engaged audience, an interested audience. And so that's a white hat strategy, all right? So it increases the exposure of your content and generates more visitors, leads, and ultimately customers. Next slide. What is Syndication Academy? In case you're unaware, Syndication Academy is our step-by-step program originally developed to train virtual assistants to build syndication networks to our strict specifications. So guys, when I first ran or came across this method and I started applying it myself, again, it was back in either 2011 or 2012, I was building these networks on my own, and it was something that it became time consuming at the time when I first developed this idea or came across this idea. It was actually introduced to me by somebody else, but then I basically took it and ran with it because it just worked so damn well. And this was way back when, and it's crazy all these years later, it still works so well. But when I started building them, there was only about, I don't know, 8 or 10 properties that were in a syndication network. So although it was still time consuming, it wasn't nearly as bad as it is now building syndication networks. It can be time consuming. It's something that, with 20 to 25 properties in a single tier syndication ring, which you'll learn more about that if you pick up the training or if you come to any of our Hump Day Hangouts or anything like that. It can be time consuming. And so when I started selling a lot more networks building more networks, and then I started selling them retail to like local businesses, and then I also started selling them wholesale 2 SEO agencies. And so I was unable to keep up with the amount of volume of sales that I was making of the actual syndication networks. So I had to learn to hire and train virtual assistants to build them. And since it was a pretty intense process to build these networks, I had to basically create a step-by-step over-the-shoulder training product that was specifically for virtual assistants. And it was literally for like cold green assistants that came that like didn't know, basically just had access to a computer. They didn't know anything. So I wasn't hiring skilled virtual assistants that already knew how to do this stuff. I was hiring unskilled virtual assistants, and I trained them from from the ground up. In other words, like I basically gave them step-by-step training for somebody that didn't know how to like that the extent of their online marketing experience was turning on their PC. Right. So I made it literally step by step. There was no stone left unturned so that I could take a new hire virtual assistant that had no experience, put them through my training. And by the time they were done, which I'd always give them about a month to go through the training, obviously I'd check in with them and everything else, but usually it was a whole month that I would put them on a reduced pay schedule as what I call training pay. And at the end of that month, they would be working full time at their full salary to build networks for me. And it was just a really, really in-depth process of creating all that training, but I did it specifically to take the workload off of my shoulders. Well, lo and behold, the training program that I made for virtual assistants obviously could be, we brought it to the market for other SEOs and internet marketing professionals to be able to pick up and learn the same procedures that we had that I developed for my virtual assistants. Okay, so Syndication Academy is our flagship training that teaches how to build your digital assets on a solid foundation and to protect them with an SEO firewall. And that's because the syndication networks, guys, think of a website or whatever your, what I call content distribution engine is, which means like typically it's going to be a website, it's going to be a YouTube channel. Anywhere that you're publishing your content is like your main source for content publishing. And most people, it's going to be their main website on their blog, or it's going to be a YouTube channel. So those are primarily our 2 content distribution engines, as I like to call them. So the 2 places or locations that we distribute content from, okay? And so typically it's going to be a website, a money site, or a YouTube channel. And with a syndication network around that property, it's going to basically act as a buffer, like an SEO firewall, because all of the Web 2.0, social media, all the other properties in the network all are branded, they're interlinked, and they're all linking back to the main website or the point of distribution, which again could also be a YouTube channel. And so any outside or exterior additional inbound link building that we want to do, so additional off-page SEO stuff that we want to do, we build those always to the actual syndication network properties instead of directly to the digital asset, the main money site or the YouTube channel. And the reason why is because it acts as a buffer. We all know, or most of us here probably are aware of the fact that Google changes what is considered best practice and also what is considered against their terms of service on a whim. It's up to them. It's their proprietary application, Google is, so they can do whatever the hell they want. And so what is okay to do today may not be okay tomorrow. And so because of that, by using a syndication network as a SEO firewall and doing all of your additional link building activities to the actual syndication ring instead of the money site, then if something were to be deemed inappropriate by Google down the road, that's okay today, but let's say next week Google says, oh no, this for the last 4 years it's been working is no longer, it's now against our terms of service and we're going to punish everybody that does it. Well, all the links had been built, all that activity had been built to the syndication network instead of directly to the money site. So it gives us the ability to be able to like open a switch, right? We can remove the links from those social media properties to the money site if needed. Now, again, I've been using this method for at least 5 years, maybe 6, and I haven't experienced any issues. But you know, if indeed that the time comes that Google decides that what has been working for years is no longer going to work, it gives us basically a safety switch. It protects our money site from potential damage down the road because it gives us the ability to remove very quickly any negative link equity or link juice that's flowing into the site by just opening up the switch, which means essentially removing a link or redirecting a link somewhere else. So it's a great way to protect your digital assets, guys. It's one of the main benefits of using syndication networks. All right. Syndication Academy is also designed to take you from working in your business to working on your business by automating your content syndication, social signals, and backlinks. That's what I was mentioning earlier about really what you should be focusing on is producing good content consistently and frequently. That's once syndication networks are in place, you know, guys, remember, I mean, unless you're an SEO, like a technical person that just really likes to get in and like do all the setup and everything else, like building links and sharing stuff on social media doesn't produce revenue. It's the traffic that doing those activities generates that produce revenue, right? And so sharing content, especially if it's compelling content, you know, crappy spammy content isn't going to produce traffic. It's not going to convert. But if you have compelling content, it's value, it provides or adds value, provides value. That type of content is much more likely to generate traffic. So the best thing to do, the best use of time, is to be focusing on producing quality content consistently and frequently, and allow a syndication network, which is completely automated, to do your content distribution and automatically build social signals and backlinks for you. So it does the promotion of your content for you. And then again, focus on producing good content that's, you know, good, compelling content. And that's going to serve you best. All right. Next slide. What are syndication network, or excuse me, why are syndication networks so effective? Because they produce backlinks and traffic from some of the biggest social websites in the world. Obviously, there's Facebook and Twitter and YouTube, and you can syndicate to LinkedIn as well. And, you know, there's WordPress.com and Blogger and Tumblr and Digo, and there's just so many different sites that we can syndicate content to, and very, very, very powerful sites, high authority sites. So they produce backlinks and traffic. Okay, so you get the SEO value of both. It's 100% automated, truly set and forget. As I mentioned in the previous slide, again, it's about once you set it up, you can pretty much forget about it and just focus on producing content. You can use it for both aged and new websites. Guys, it doesn't matter, young or old. It works great for both. If especially new sites, the reason I say it works so well for new sites is because you can quickly validate an entity. It's much more advanced stuff, but we're talking about the semantic web, and you know, entity validation is a critical component of the semantic web. And part of the reason why syndication networks work so well is because they help to validate the entity. Again, that's an advanced topic. We're not really going to cover that here. But just know that it does help to validate the entity. It helps to build authority and to build the brand, which Google is rewarding authority and brands right now. Okay. And so for a brand new website, one of the quickest way to validate the entity, there's a couple ways. One is building a syndication network around claiming your footprint. No, not hiding it. You're claiming a footprint. Okay. Another one is Drive Stacks. That's another great way. That's another product that we provide. That's for another webinar. And then lastly, you can also register a Google My Business profile, which helps to validate an entity as well. Okay. So for aged websites, it can be added at any time, and all it will do is help to improve the authority, increase the authority of the site that it's added to. If you have an aged website that already has some inherent authority and you're not blogging consistently from that website, and you add a syndication network to that site and begin blogging, you should see significant results. Very, very quickly. Okay. Another main point of this, syndication networks are 100% outsourceable. Again, I got away from building them myself after about the first year. Once I got to reach a level of volume of sales that I could no longer handle building them myself, I had to learn how to outsource that myself and teach, you know, hire and train virtual assistants. And so basically, ever since then, I really haven't had to build them except for when I'm updating the training, and then I have to go in and build the networks myself. But I just don't build them myself anymore, guys. That's what our virtual assistants are for, and that's what I recommend anybody that wants to, you know, pursue this method of online marketing and use syndication networks for generating revenue should, as soon as possible, start outsourcing these. And so it's something that you can do on your own. You can outsource, hire your own virtual assistants, and then train them. You can also hire your own virtual assistants and put them through Syndication Academy if you'd like. That's another way that you can train them instead of reinventing the wheel and having to create all the training yourself. And then the third option is to buy done-for-you networks from us, Semantic Mastery, from our marketplace, serpspace.com, and you can go check them out there. And even if you end up joining Syndication Academy, I recommend picking up a done-for-you syndication network from SerpSpace, so that you can see what a finished product looks like based upon our specifications when they're built to Semantic Mastery specifications. Because then it can help you to have one to follow along with as you're going through the training if you join the academy. It's entirely up to you, but if you want to check out the done-for-you networks, there you go, serpspace.com/syndication networks, and you'll see the done-for-you syndication network services and the different options we have. All right. You can generate revenue from networks through, and I have made money from syndication networks from every one of these methods, and this is not even an all-inclusive list, guys. I wanted to keep this short, so we're just going to touch on each one of these very, very quickly. Building and selling them. Okay, so again, I got my start using syndication networks specifically for my own properties because I started off in SEO building my own lead gen properties, and I was using syndication networks at that time to rank both WordPress sites for local lead gen as well as YouTube videos. And so I was using them to generate revenue through ranking of digital assets that I would then lease or sell leads from, sell the leads that those properties produced to businesses. And so I was using syndication networks originally for to basically build up my own digital asset portfolio. But once I opened up my agency in March of 2012, I started, I expanded beyond just local lead gen, and I started providing SEO and digital marketing services for local businesses. And I started selling syndication networks to local businesses. And that's a huge profit center. I mean, huge. Like I sell my networks. Well, back then I wasn't selling them for near as much. I was selling them for about $300 in 2012. But I sell them for $700 now, and many of my partners say I sell them for too cheap to local businesses, guys. You can buy them from SerpSpace for $75. So, anyways, point is, there's a huge profit center there. So you can make money from building them and selling them to SEO and or video marketing agencies, guys. Think about that. When I started selling them to local businesses, I realized that there were also probably SEO agencies and video marketing agencies that would be interested in them. And so I started reaching out to agencies online, and I started landing agency clients that would buy them in volume. They would buy, 10 networks at a time. And since I had outsourcers building them for me, it was easy for me just to place an order, and then I would just mark up. I would sell like 10 networks at like, $100 a piece. That'd be $1,000 that I would charge the agency for 10 networks, and then I would pay my virtual assistants to build them, and it might cost me $400. So I'd make $600. That's 60. It's keeping 60% of that money as pure profit. And so it's a great way. You can sell to SEO agencies and video marketing agencies, syndication networks, and they will buy them up all day long. And there's a huge markup potential there too. Managing them or clients. So in other words, if you create your own, or excuse me, if you are selling networks to businesses, you can also sell them on managing their networks for them, which means like maintenance, right? So keeping them updated, building links to those network properties, doing things to boost those networks, the syndication networks. You can create a service out of that and get people on a monthly recurring charge. So that's a continuity program. Another one is content marketing services. This is my preferred method of building continuity into what's otherwise a one-off service. In other words, when I go, like if I were to just sell a network to a business for $700, and let's say it cost me $75 to get it built, well, that's a $625 profit. That's fantastic. But what about next month, right? Next month, you don't make any money from that network. Well, what if you sell content marketing services to the business that just bought the network, right? So let's say that you sell them a network for $700, and then you sell them on 2 blog posts per week. And you charge them, I don't know, let's say $35 per blog post. That's $70 a week times 4 weeks. That's another $280 a month. And then you can go out and outsource the blogger, right? You can go hire a blogger from Upwork or train them yourself. Hire another virtual assistant. train them yourself and pay somebody $15 or $20 per post, and you keep the spread. So if you're charging $35 a post and you're paying somebody $20 a post, you get to keep $15 and you don't have to do a damn thing. And you get to basically charge monthly recurring for that. And you don't have to do anything. All the heavy lifting's been done by the syndication network. And the marketing, the blogging, the writing of the content, or the curating of the content, depending on what type of posts you do, can be outsourced. And all you do is keep the spread. So you make a nice profit center off of just managing a very simple task. Okay, so that's my preferred method of monetizing or turning syndication networks into a continuity program, is by offering content marketing services. All right, you can also sell links, social signals, and video embeds. That's something else that a lot of our members have been doing, is building out really big, large themed networks, which are basically multiple syndication networks connected together, and then selling content distribution services to other marketers. So in other words, if somebody has a video they want ranked, you could, if you had a big, large network that was themed around a particular industry, and somebody, let's say plumbing industry or home improvement industry, and somebody had a plumbing video they wanted ranked, you could sell them, a blast or a syndication, a syndication package or something that would go out across your network. All right. So that's something else you can do. You can also use it to rank your own digital assets. That's what I mentioned at the beginning. That's how I first got my start, was I was ranking my own digital assets for lead gen, list building, affiliate marketing, anything. Okay. So, and that's probably the majority. I don't know. I would say, I don't know for sure, but I think the majority of our Syndication Academy members are using it for their own assets, or for lead gen and or local consulting. Okay. All right. So who should use syndication networks? Well, I should have put this one at the top, but everyone. Everyone, period. Done. Next slide. Right. So who should be using syndication network? Anyone that has a presence online, no doubt. But local businesses, that's great for them, guys. Like I said, it's absolutely fantastic. And the beautiful thing is, you guys, because you're part of our group, you can buy them from us for $75 or build them yourself if you'd like. But you can charge local businesses that aren't in the online marketing world, that don't know who we are. You can charge them $700 or more per network, and buy them from us. And then you don't even have to do the damn work. All right. Or you can build them yourself. That's entirely fine as well. Video marketing, so local businesses, consultants and agencies, we talked about them already. So you can approach SEO and video marketing agencies as well as consultants. So those are like solopreneurs, like I was for many years, right? And like many of you probably on this call right now, or who are watching the replay, are consultants. You start off as a consultant, right? As a solopreneur by yourself, a one-man show. And then over time and with effort and action, you can start to build an agency, right? Well, you can also sell syndication networks. Agencies should be using them as well. All right. Bloggers, again, it's not enough to just have good content. You have to get eyeballs to your content. Well, these are perfect for bloggers. Social media managers, another thing. You can set up to where all your social media posts are being basically sent out and distributed all on autopilot from one content source. So again, it's a way to help alleviate some of the responsibilities or tasks, the workload of a social media manager. Video marketing professionals and agencies that want more exposure and better rankings. Guys, again, video marketing and professionals and agencies are, these networks are great for that. They work really, really well for videos. Affiliate marketers that want to launch jack or promote their affiliate sites. Okay, another great source. Entrepreneurs that need additional traffic for long tail keywords, and online reputation management professionals that need to bury undesirable reviews. Again, anyone or everyone that has a presence online. All right, so how to join Syndication Academy. Just go to syndication.academy. Click on the Get Access Now button and add your details on the following page. Place your order and receive instant access to the members area. And then you can always request access to the exclusive Facebook group using our support desk. So in other words, if you decide to join Syndication Academy today, then once you've got access or you've purchased, you'll via email, you should get login details to the membership site where all the training is. It's a massive, massive training course, guys. But again, and it's updated on a monthly basis. We do a update webinar every single month where we update the training if there's any changes to any of the properties or the procedures on how to set up an account on those properties and an interlink or any of that. Plus, we add new properties to our account workbook, like essentially we add new properties to our networks, even if they're not used for syndication. Part of the semantic web is just having a presence on as many properties as possible. So every single month we add additional properties, and I walk through on a step-by-step through the update webinar on how to set up those properties. And I give the actual step-by-step procedures for those and why those properties are good, as well as, like I said, any new methods or anything else that we've learned that we can apply, we'd like to share with you guys during those webinars. All right, and then after you've gotten your login details, you just reach out to us at support@semanticmastery.com and request to join the Facebook group, and we will add you to the private Facebook group. Okay, you can also buy done-for-you networks at surfspace.com/syndication networks, and you can see, and again, I encourage you guys, whether you join Syndication Academy or not, to go at least check out our done-for-you networks. And then if you do join Syndication Academy, you should still pick up a done-for-you network so you can see what one looks like that's been completed and built to our specifications. Okay? And so the what's next slide is the one that I didn't finish, unfortunately. But really, there is nothing next other than, like I said, once you guys get the Syndication Academy and you learn out and build your own networks, or you purchase done-for-you networks, what's next is worrying about content. And that's number one, is to start producing content regularly and consistently. It's something we call frequency of publishing. That's important. That's what helps to really power up these networks, is to start distributing content on a regular basis that is themed, right? So for example, if you've got a plumbing site, I'm just using that as an example, but let's say you're trying to help a plumber, or you're doing a lead gen site for a plumber or whatever. You start to add content to their blog, and it's going to syndicate out to the network. It's going to basically start to theme the network, because it's going to be home improvement related content on a regular basis. So now that network's going to start to build up with content around that particular topic, which means it's going to start to become its own authority. It's going to build up its relevancy, and it's going to start, any of the content that gets syndicated out that's pointing links back to your money site is going to start to transfer some of that authority and relevancy back to your money site, to your main site. And then so again, frequency of publishing and being consistent is important. And then the other things that you can do as far as like additional stuff to make the networks even more powerful is you can add like link building packages. What that means is build links actually to the networks themselves to improve the performance of the networks. Okay, and that's something, if you end up joining Syndication Academy, all of that is covered in the Academy. Or if you buy a done-for-you network, we provide some best practices training when we deliver the final, the completed network. So either way, you'll have access to the kind of what's next stuff after you've either built your own or purchased one. All right. So with that, we can get into some questions. Do we have any questions?
I think we're good in terms of questions. I think let's give it maybe 10, 15 seconds to post the questions on the event page. If not, we can wrap it up. Okay,
very good. Do you guys have any comments about what we covered?
No, I think you nailed it, Bradley. And I think that there's a lot of, we decided to have these kind of webinars because there's a lot of people asking questions about syndication networks and if they work and whatnot. And, it's a good thing to come and ask your questions here. But not only that, we always say that you need to go out and test. That's like number one step for anything that you do. So syndication networks work because, again, it's what the big guys are doing. We're treating everything as 100% white hat. We're building links. We're building authority, and we are not saying that this is all and everything you need to do, right? Depending on the market, depending on the niche that you are, but this will help, definitely help you out, give you a boost. Sometimes that's all you need to do. Sometimes you need some more power to rank, but this is a great starting point and this is a great base. And, we have been rocking this strategy for 3 years now, and our students are having great results, and we are having great results, and we're using these for pretty much everything we do out there. So that would be my comment.
Yeah. And that's, as I was mentioning earlier, like it's the foundation, and it has been my foundation for SEO and any sort of digital marketing campaign. Really, as I always start with making sure there's a syndication network around either the YouTube channel or the money site, and then starting to produce content from there. And then from that point on, it's like, I always start with that. That's step one. That's building the foundation. And then from there is obviously a million other things that you can do beyond a syndication network. but that's always step one for me. Is as soon as I start to build a new website or I land a new client or whatever, the very first step is to get that syndication network in place, because that helps to validate the entity, and it gives me that foundation and that base, from there, that I can build on top of. And that, I mean, that's what I was mentioning about an SEO firewall, for example, because it helps to buffer the site and protect the site from any potential negative consequences from, Google wrath that I don't have any way of predicting what Google is going to do today or tomorrow. None of us do. You know what I mean? So it gives us the ability to protect our assets as well as really build the foundation on top of which everything else can be built. So,
yep,
very powerful.
Sounds good. Yeah. Since not that, I don't think there are no questions. Sorry, Adam. Were you about to say something?
No, go ahead.
I was about to say that I don't think there's any questions, so I think we can wrap it up.
Okay, cool. Very good. Adam, you got anything you want to add, or are we good?
No, I think we're good to go. Just want to say thanks, everybody, for tuning in and checking it out. If you guys have any questions, like Bradley was saying, hop over to our Hump Day Hangouts. Come join us and get your questions answered.
Yep, and Hump Day Hangouts, guys, in case anybody's unaware, every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have a 1-hour webinar or Q&A. Anybody is free to attend and ask us questions about any sort of digital marketing that you'd like. And you can always attend, again, every single Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern at semanticmastery.com/hump day. Again, semanticmastery.com/hump day. You can register to join that weekly webinar series and ask us anything you want. So we're happy to have you. So thanks, Adam, and thanks, Hernan, for being here today, guys.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.